Welcome to the O.W.P. This is our wrestling podcast. This is Dave along with Jess.
That's not true.
Okay, and Craig.
Liar.
All right then, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. And now on to our topic today, the history of the NWA WCW US Championship. Hit us up on Instagram at O.W.P.2019. Click on Linktree. You can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Soundcloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. And anything that we talk about is inspired by the WWE Network. So do yourself a favor and get your free month today to watch anything WWE, WCW, ECW, and more.
Yeah, shout out to Bergen. North Bergen? Yeah. Whoever's listening in North Bergen, thank you. Comment
Yeah, you're
below.
awesome,
You're
bro.
the best. Yeah. Like, seriously. Thank you for listening.
We didn't know this championship's important. You shut up with your
I will shut up.
Fill
this
my
is
ass.
this title's actually still around today. The WWE adopted this title when they bought WCW, and they still have the WWE US Championship, which I did not cover. I stopped at the sale of WCW because I wanted to talk about the real championship. Listen, WWE, they don't know what they're doing with fucking titles and shit right now. They just have to have a couple on each brand, and there you go. So I'm glad they keep the legacy alive, but at the same time, to me, the legacy died in 2001 when the company was bought. So this covers everything from the beginning up until the sale of WCW.
Ooh, it sounds like a lot of info.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean,
You're disgusting.
yeah, I mean, it's, Jess, do you view it, it's the NWA's Intercontinental Championship, right? You view it at the same level or more prestige in its own way, or no?
It's kind of hard to not say the Intercontinental Championship's like the bigger one, because it's been around longer, obviously. But I mean, really, how long has it been relevant? Intercontinental Championship hasn't been really relevant for a while,
right?
But no titles have, to be honest. Like over the last 10 years, they've really just kind of faded away.
You?
So I really just wanted to capture like the soul of this championship, which was the early years and stuff. And there's some big names that held it on their road to becoming legendary heavyweight champions. So this is a very important championship in the lineage of a lot of wrestlers' careers. A lot.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into the mid-Atlantic years. The NWA United States Championship was created for the NWA Mid-Atlantic Territory on January 1st, 1975. Nothing like New Year's Day to kick off a new title, right?
2 years before I was born.
Oh my. Harley Race became the first champion by defeating Johnny Weaver, sounds like a sitcom, in the tournament final. It's always a tournament.
Do we know if it was a real tournament? I'm assuming it was real.
I would assume yes. I think WWE likes to pull that chicanery, but I'll believe Mid-Atlantic.
They sold tickets. Legit. They sold tickets for that.
They actually went to Rio de Janeiro and did the fucking tournament.
There you go. Johnny Valentine defeated Harley Race on July 3rd of 1975. However, his reign only lasted 93 days due to a plane crash. Oh my, that ended his career. This was on the same plane crash that Ric Flair was actually on that broke his back, which is why we all speculate that Ric Flair always fell on his side going forward since his plane crash whenever he took any kind of major back body drops or suplexes, things like that. The title would change hands numerous times over the next 2 years. On July 29th, 1977, I'm days old here, Ric Flair defeated Bobo Brazil. Is that right?
Oh, come on, Dave. How do you not know Bobo Brazil?
I'm sorry. For the U.S. title, this would begin Ric's first of 5 U.S. title reigns. He and Ricky Steamboat would begin their storied feud over the title and would switch it back and forth over the next 2 years.
So, and most people remember them from their NWA Championship wars, but they actually feuded for quite a bit here for the U.S. Championship. So Steamboat and Flair's rivalry was born over a feud of the United States Championship, which they both traded back and forth.
Almost. What are you going to say now about the guts of Ricky Steamboat? Come on! You got to admit, and what about the headline and the stamina now?
Nice first being out.
That's it. That's it. It's all over. The man will never get off the floor. The man will never come. Wait a minute.
He'll never get off the floor, but he's coming back.
What about
he's coming?
And Silver. And Ric Flair's eyes are in the sun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people think about Ricky, WWE and switching later, but he was back and forth quite a bit, and him and Flair had a lot of feuds even before like world title nostalgia, right?
Yeah, and I'm jumping around a bit here too. I try to keep it in chronological order as much as I can here. But I mean, there's been a lot of US champions, but like I'm jumping up and down here too to the notable feuds and matches that come from it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around, because I just always remember Flair and the NWA champion. Like, who's got the belt in 1977 if Flair and Steamboat
I believe it was Race.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Race.
I thought Race and Dusty were kind of feuding at this time. Am I crazy?
It could very well be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
But Race is the main stronghold.
And that was only 2 years. I mean, Race won the first champion, so it's 2 years later elevated to champion.
Yeah,
to world champion. I mean, it's they're testing it out, right?
In the South, Harley Race is definitely dominated at this point to the Crockett side. So at least from what I see, and then Flair's on the come ups. And when Flair won the actual world title, it was kind of like, this is it for a long time. It's what the crowd wanted. You could see it. So Flair becoming a multiple champion over time was just meant to be. On January 21st of 1981, Roddy Piper would defeat Ric Flair.
Come on,
man. To defeat Ric Flair and win the U.S. title. Piper was the current San Francisco United States champion, the San Francisco Treaty. And the two would merge into the NWA Undisputed United States title. That's a mouthful. The San Francisco Territory Treat.
That's such a wacky belt. No one's going to take from me, man. The San Francisco.
Oh, we're going out of business? Oh, man. I would have merged them together. Undisputed, man.
But
where's my rights?
That territory would close its doors shortly after the title change. So it was a good merger.
All right, man.
Then we get Bakersfield world champion now.
Well, no. We get to
I'll have the North Riverside County United States champion, motherfucker. Oh, we're closing.
Riverside County is not San Francisco.
Yeah, we're shutting down. We're closing the door. All right.
Shut down.
I hope you all enjoy it. It was good while it lasted.
But the little infancy here with the Mid-Atlantic, now it's primarily now in the Crockett territory. After this, you're going to get to. So now it's the United States Championship, NWA United States Championship, like we all have known.
Yeah, so we get into the NWA Crockett Promotions exclusive. Wahoo McDaniel, I heard he broke his leg somewhere, but that's another story later, would win the title on 5 occasions between 1981 and 1985, until losing it to Magnum TA, who a lot of us would believe if he didn't get in a car accident would have been one of the greatest champions of all time. On March 23rd of 1985, it was shortly after that the historic feud between Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA would begin over that same U.S. title.
Oh, okay.
You're picking up what I'm laying down here?
I can see this. The brutality of this match as a kid seeing this on videotape. Yeah.
Starrcade 85, Magnum defeated Tully to regain the U.S. title in a steel cage I Quit match.
This match, I could still watch it to this day. It's probably my favorite U.S. title match. The violence that they did with the chair and the way they ended it was amazing. Like, this match is easily, you could go back and watch it now. It's so
label it here. Starrcade 85, Magnum TA would defeat Tully to regain that title. To this day, many would consider this match to be one of the greatest U.S. title matches ever.
Tully saying yes. Tully said yes.
Yeah. And don't worry, there's no blood in this match, so don't worry about that if you're queasy about blood. It's just a good old mat wrestling chain thing. It's good.
Yeah, a steel cage, I quit, almost never ends in blood. So it's good. It's good, right? On August 17th of 1986, Nikita Koloff would defeat Magnum in a best-of-7 series of matches to win the championship. That's kind of a cool. The best-of-7, it doesn't come up too often. We see
a lot of people underplay Nikita's. He wasn't the best, like cleanest wrestler in there, but Nikita was around a while, like especially in the Crockett promotions here. Like he won the TV title, the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. Like Nikita was a big part. He won the tag titles with Ivan Koloff as well. So Nikita Koloff's been around. Like a lot of people kind of shit on his work ethic and stuff, and I don't know if that's very fair to do. But Nikita was a big part of the title picture here back here on the Crockett promotions. He was a part of major feuds as well.
Oh my goodness! On July 11th of 1987, Lex Luger would join the Four Horsemen and win his first of 5 United States championships between 1987 and 1990, totaling 950 days. And my question is why? I'm sorry. His most notable was his second reign, which lasted 523 of said 950 days.
Lex Luger was like a dominant U.S. champion. Like he was young when he won his first one, but Lex Luger I always remember him as U.S. champion. As a matter of fact, I know it's got a lot of lineage to it and everything, but when people say the way I grew up, I started watching wrestling in the late 80s. When people say U.S. champion, I automatically think of Lex Luger. Like, he dominated that champ, and he was over as shit, by the way. If anybody doubts, I know his in-ring work was questionable, especially when he got older in the NWO years. Like, he was still over as fuck, by the way, during the Monday Night Wars, but his wrestling skills had declined greatly. But Luger back here, there was something to him. Like, he hit his clotheslines a little stiffer back here. Luger was good. Like,
he looked good with the belt too.
Yeah. He looked good with the belt.
He looked.
Like, Luger was not like a master wrestler or anything like that. I will never stick up for his in-ring prowess or whatever. But his look.
He's the WCW Ultimate Warrior at this point.
Yeah, he looked amazing with belts and just the way his long hair. He was always in amazing shape. Tan. Like, Lex Luger, looked the part for sure. And he was dominant.
He can make his titties go like
bounce. He can bounce his titties up and down. Opposite of each other.
Because obviously trash,
as they do, but no, you know what I mean. Like, and the fact that he for over 900 days, like that's fucking crazy. Luger was a U.S. title staple from that 87 to 90. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a really interesting statement that you have here on the notes, Jess. At the Great American Bash in 1991, Lex Luger would vacate that U.S. title after winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship from Barry Windham, but he technically didn't win it from Barry Windham. It was a number 1 versus number 2 contender match to fill the vacated title after Ric Flair had left to WWF. What's interesting about this, I want to make sure people understand, Barry Windham never won the WCW World title. Am I right?
Correct.
He won the NWA title one time.
He won the NWA version when it came back for its second go.
Exactly. Which is still it's an atrocity to me, but for another day. But that's interesting that Luger beat Windham. So Windham was at that level to a lot of people, but still nobody felt that they could put the title on Windham.
Well, and I went over Windham a little bit too. Windham was U.S. champion in 1988 and had a notable feud with Dusty Rhodes. But again, it was just one reign for Windham and everything. And that's, again, I'm hitting the highlighted, the big people that mean something to this title.
Sure.
But Windham was a good U.S. champion too.
The
after that, basically, Luger would withdraw from that title. And then the title was renamed the WCW United States Championship. So the switch from here is WCW under Turner for that same title. On August 25th of 1991, Sting would defeat Steve Austin in a tournament final to become the new WCW United States Champion. Rick Rude would defeat Sting at Clash of Champions 17 to win that title. His reign lasted 378 days and would be his only run with the U.S. title. So one straight over a year.
I remember that run fondly too, and loving Rude with the belt also.
Yeah, like it, everybody loves Rude from WWF, and he was IC champion for a little bit. He was sort of just kind of an in-betweener of title runs for the Warrior. But I think Rick Rude's career in WCW was better for him than anything that he ever did in WWF because they let him be him. He got to wrestle a little bit more snug. He got to be a little bit more of a real, like, he was kind of a tough heel, like, whereas WWF, he was the coward.
Well, he gets great matches with Ricky Steamboat, Dustin Rhodes. It's great stuff. And then after winning that title in a tournament, Dustin Rhodes would be defeated by Steve Austin at Starrcade of 93. The match was a 2 out of 3 falls. Austin would win it in 2 straight falls. So they had some stake in Austin at this point. A lot of people
sorry to interrupt, but Rick Rude, in addition to the U.S. title, also holds the highest elevation per average backdrop.
Yes, for sure. And
nobody goes higher.
He would over-rotate and knee himself in the face, too. He'd
Yeah.
break his nose often.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Aww.
So on August 24th, that's my pop's birthday, 1994.
Well, and Austin also, too, the feud that Steamboat had with Rude and then Rude had with Dustin, they were great. Like, that 1.5-year span that Rude was kind of U.S. champion, trading it back and forth, like he had really good matches with them. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on August 24th of 94, Steamboat would defeat Steve Austin in a classic match at Clash of Champions 28.
That was great. That match was fucking fantastic.
Awesome.
He got him! I do not believe this!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and new United States Heavyweight Champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Austin won the title back, though, by forfeit at Super Bowl 94 on September 18th due to Steamboat being unable to defend the title due to a career-ending back injury. Seconds later, Hacksaw Jim Duggan would make his debut and defeat
This is unbelievable.
Austin for the title.
He dives on it! 1, 2, 3!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and new United States Heavyweight Champion, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That just doesn't sound right.
That's, yeah.
Didn't know what they had.
Yeah,
With Duggan, I know he should have been.
He should have world champion.
Duggan's the best, bro. After defeating Duggan at Starrcade 94, Vader, of all people, would be stripped of the United States title on March 25th of 95 by Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel due to Vader continuously attacking wrestlers and officials.
Just a goddamn menace, that Vader.
Yeah.
You moonsault that ref one more time, we're gonna strip that belt from you.
Yeah, that's it.
And he did. He moonsaulted it.
So there was a tournament, as always. Sting and Ming would tail it up, but Sting would defeat Ming in that final to win his second U.S. title at the Great American Bash on June 18th of 1995. Craig was in college. We were seniors at that time, enjoying the summer, to give you a bit of an age nostalgia.
Yeah. That's my birthday, June 18th.
Oh, baby. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Sting.
Sting won the title for you.
Thanks, Sting.
Yeah.
Good for you. The title would flop around for the next couple of years, but the people that would be notable for these titles at the time would be DDP, he would defeat Kurt Hennig for the title at Starrcade 97. And then also in December of 97, Goldberg defeated Raven for the United States Championship on April 28, 1998.
As Goldberg is going for it right now. Hammer, 2, 3. We got a new champion, and Goldberg is open for business. Give that man the belt. Goldberg is the United States Heavyweight Champion, and he won it.
On Nitro. It's not even a pay-per-view. I get so mad about this stuff. But this would begin Goldberg's meteoric rise to the world title later that summer. He would defeat Hollywood Hogan to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on July 6, 1998. That's my birthday.
3 months later.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that title would be vacated on the U.S. side. Bret Hart would come in and defeat DDP on Monday Nitro, July 20th, 1998, to capture his first WCW United States title.
Scoop my heat.
Trying to scoop my heat.
Look at the fight in this man. Reach down deep.
How does he have the energy left to even try and fight back?
The fans chant DDP. Shut out the pain as best he cannot do it. Pulling the bell, it's over. He's a human being. He had to. It's over. Let go of the darn thing. It's over. Let go of it. Jerk.
Now there's your new United States Heavyweight Champion. Great.
Sid Vicious would defeat Chris Benoit to win his first U.S. title in Fall Brawl of 99. Until WCW went out of business, the U.S. title became an afterthought with very few notable moments. They were in a lot of trouble here, Jess, yeah?
Yeah, they didn't know what they were fucking doing, like at this point.
We've talked about it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, WCW was in a world of hurt in the 1999 area until they went out of business, so they just kind of threw it on whoever they could.
Yeah. There are some bright spots here and there. Scott Steiner would win the title on April 16th, 2000, and Lance Storm would win it on July 18th of 2000. He would put a Canadian sticker on the face of the belt to cover the American flag and call it the Canadian Championship. Good for you.
I don't remember that, but that actually sounds fun.
Lance Storm, I really enjoyed his run. Like, he held the WCW Hardcore, the WCW Cruiserweight, and the WCW US title all at the same time, and he put Canadian stickers on all of them. It was awesome. Like, yeah, it was really good.
I'm just saying, like, we're gonna have a segment probably sometime of underrated wrestlers, and I think that I really do think that Lance Storm kind of.
There was only few bright spots of the downfall of WCW, and I really enjoyed Lance Storm. Like during his run,
Storm is incredible. I think people, if you don't understand wrestling, you're trying to figure out like the dynamics and the foundation of it. I think Lance Storm can really bring that to light. Just go back and dig on a couple of Storm matches. You'll be impressed. The guy could grapple. He can do the ring work, and then he could do the aerial work. He's pretty much a all around, I want to say above average wrestler.
And he was a Heart Dungeon graduate, right? He trained with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the boy was stretched, and he made it through. It's good to go. Lance Storm is a hidden gem. You need to dig up some matches on Lance Storm if you don't know who he is. Booker T was the last recognized WCW US champion when the company was bought on March 18th, 2001. That was the final Monday Nitro. He would defeat Scott Steiner for the WCW Heavyweight Championship and hold both belts at the sale of WCW.
One, two, could it be it? Yes, it is. Booker T is WCW World Champion. He's got 2 titles. Give him all the hardware. He's the man. And he is just that. What a great way to put it. Booker T has added another run as World Heavyweight Champion. Make it 4 times. He's the U.S. King and the World King. He is Booker T.
Do you have to give any of them up, guys? Can't remember.
When he went to WWE, he was noted that he had the U.S. title, and I think he just gave it to Chris Canyon. And then Chris Canyon took it from there.
Well, that was well done.
Really?
Thanks, Chris.
It was super generous.
Yeah.
But I stopped it there because, like, once WCW was bought, look, I know they've had the, WWE United States Championship for years now, like as one of their secondary titles on one of their brands. But I don't know, man. I didn't really want to talk about that in this episode. I wanted to talk about the U.S. champion that we grew up with and that started a little bit before that. So the history ended there. I put some fun facts here. And one fun fact before you read the rest, Dave, that I forgot was Sting was 2-time United States Championship. Fun fact is both of his United States Championships were won from tournament finals.
Oh.
Boom.
Yeah.
So he never defeated
a current champion. Both Sting's U.S. title reigns came from beating Austin in 91, I want to say it was, if I remember what you said back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then he defeated Ming in 95 at Great American Bash for his second
think that's
US
harder. Sting's my hero.
He had to fight his way up in tournaments. He fucking
come on, man. That's Macho Man times 2. What?
And Sting has just pinned Big Sid Vicious.
So I forgot to put that fun fact in the fun facts.
That is a good one. So more fun facts here about the championship. Johnny Valentine on July 3rd, 75, and Greg Valentine on November 4th, 1982, were the first father and son to hold that championship.
Greg Valentine was Johnny Valentine's son?
Yes.
No.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought they were like fake Valentine names.
Fake Valentines?
Wow.
No. Yeah.
Okay. My mind is blown with that.
Father son were Black Jack Mulligan. He took it in March of 76, and Barry Windham on May of 1988. And the third were Dusty Rhodes with Dustin Rhodes. So November of 87 to January of 93. A lot of father-son fun facts.
Yeah,
that's title there.
It's quite a few combos.
Yeah. Second fun fact: Lex Luger, Ric Flair, and Wahoo McDaniel. And Bret Hart have 5 reigns. The Bret Hart one is probably the most surprising. He has 5 U.S. title reigns in the WCW market, which is pretty incredible. Before they close shop, and we talked about this. Lex Luger has the longest combined days with 950 and the longest single reign with 523.
Talked about it earlier. It's not belonging to pick up an object. We've got to touch a rock. We've got to touch a rock. The only way he can save himself is he's got to nail Luger. He can. Ring that bell. Ring that bell. Oh, yeah. Lex Luger. What a win.
The Wolfpack and Lex Luger have the United States heavyweight title.
What a win for Lex Luger over the Hitman Bret Hart.
I mean, he was trying to approach 2 years on that title hold.
That's an impressive stat considering from 1975 and the names that have held that, and Luger's the one that has the longest combined days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it adds to your point of when you picture the U.S. title, it's Luger. That makes a lot of sense.
So a lot of time there. So Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Vader, Shane Douglas, and Booker T won the U.S. title after they had worn the NWA WCW World Heavyweight title. So it wasn't something that you just would never go back to.
Yeah, they didn't use it as a stepping stone. They won it secondary.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then Greg Valentine was the first wrestler to win both the U.S. Championship in 82 and the Intercontinental Championship from WWF in 1984. That's kind of cool.
I bet that list is pretty big of people that have held both U.S. and Intercontinental. Or maybe it's not, actually.
Well, once they've gone to WWE, maybe.
I mean, I can just think of Rude. I don't know. Steamboat?
I mean, well, could you...
Well, and now that I think about it, maybe Steamboat was the first. Well, no, because Steamboat won the Intercontinental Championship in 87. So
are you
Valentine
talking
won it
about
first.
like post-merger, though, with those titles with WWE? Because I think there's more after that. Is that weird?
Yeah, I think just historically.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about, I'm not anything.
when because what Valentine did was go from one federation to the other.
Yeah.
Right? And win those titles.
Yeah.
That's
and then Steamboat would do the same thing later. Rick would do the same thing later.
Now you can just get switched from Raw to SmackDown and win that title.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a lot. Like I said, I cut this off at the sale of WCW.
No, I just want to make sure. I mean,
Yeah.
What Valentine did is pretty prestigious because it's two different organizations at that.
Valentine's dad was Johnny Valentine.
That's what I heard about that. Heard about that.
I think the second person, if I'm just thinking, it might have been Rick Rude later.
That did that. That makes sense. It's
no,
possible.
no, just kidding.
Well,
it was Steamboat. It was Steamboat.
Well,
Steamboat
what
won.
about the reverse of it? Bret Hart. Can you go backwards? He won the Intercontinental.
Yeah, Bret Hart
then...
would eventually do it later because he won the IC title in 91 and then came to WCW 98.
If you count a legitimate,
he was later. Split. He was later, but I mean, Valentine was the first. Steamboat was the second, and then I want to say it was Rude after that, and then there might have been there's a couple others. Bret being one of them.
It's interesting stuff. Wow. Lex Luger and Goldberg were the only two wrestlers to forfeit the United States title due to winning the World Heavyweight title. Booker T, Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, and Eddie Guerrero are the only wrestlers to win both WCW and WWE versions of the United States title. See, and that's different. So you have to be in the right place at the right time to do that when you're of peak performance of those wrestling periods right at the point of the buyout of WCW, where you won it in WCW and then you were able to win it again in the WWE era, right, Jess?
Yes, correct.
That's crazy stuff. The whole buyout in that time frame of like 90-91 and the wrestlers that could come into that time frame, it's just a handful of people that were able to do that. Because anybody that could have done it, they're like, I got this fat contract and I'm just going to ride that out.
I mean, people now are like, oh, well, it's because now more than ever, everybody knows it's all a show. I mean, you always knew it back then when we were kids, but we pretended like it was real. Stats meant everything to me. Like, that's why I got the PWI magazines and stuff. And we got the PWI 500s and the year-end issues. Stats meant everything to me because we treated it like it was a real sport because that helps suspend disbelief. That helps, with the imagination of it when you treat it like that. So all these stats, especially before the buyout, because after the buyout, it was just one show. But like before the buyout, like stats were important. Like, when Flair won the WWF title, after reigning as NWA champion for all those years, like that meant something. That was important. He was only the second guy to ever do that. And like, it just kind of, all that stuff meant something. So I love the fun facts of the US Championship before the buyout because it was, and I did throw in a little post buyout stuff there with that last fun fact of Booker T, Benoit, Hart, and Guerrero, the only wrestlers to win it, the WCW version of it and the WWF version of it. But yeah, like it's just kind of fun. I love stats. I love titles like this because they're important. And back here, this meant everything. Like this was the second biggest championship besides the NWA Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, like it's totally meaningless. But in just talking about PWI, actually, we would take to heart and look at like the rankings of the top 10, even though I think they weren't provided and made up by the editors of PWI, but like it'd have the champion and then the top contenders under that.
And
like,
and number. The US, the Intercontinental Champion was always the number one contender to the WWF Championship, which kind of never made any sense.
No,
and
they're never going to.
Yeah. And the WCW US Championship was the number one contender to the WCW/NWA Heavyweight Champion. But it was always like, why are they number one contender? They never challenged because they wear a secondary title. Sometimes they did, but it was rare.
Right.
So that's it. See, it was very quick, this episode. Yeah. It wasn't that bad.
Take us home, Dave.
It was shorter. It was shorter than the title, to Dave's point.
Whoa.
Son of a bitch.
All right. Hit us up on Instagram at O.W.P 2019. Click on Linktree, and you can find us on several platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. And anything we talk about is inspired by the WWE Network. So do yourself a favor and get your free month today to watch anything WWE, WCW, ECW, and more. This is Dave, Jess, and Craig with the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.